yeah, definitely stimulants, caffeine, other stimulants, fat burners, all those kinds of things can throw off electrolytes. What I normally do is I give the athlete a multivitamin. It happened just the other day with one of the athletes that was here. He was getting a little bit cramped up. It was actually Hany. I'll just mention who it is. And he tends to get cramping through his abs, and especially when he's starting to get closer to the show. So what do? We went from 2 Evovite to 3 to 4 Evovite a day, knocked it right out. Because the multivitamin really helps with that, multivitamin / multi-minerals, those minerals. And if it gets really severe, then do I get some extra minerals, like a mineral complex? If it gets really severe, usually it doesn't get to that point. But for the most part, just, upping the Evovite that I do is plenty. And so what we did that and knocked it right out. But he was starting to pick up some dumbbells, and he was starting to cramp coming back on and off the incline bench, because as your core tend to fire, and then he had trained abs the day before, and that tends to also facilitate more muscle cramps from the workout. So if anybody's had a really good arm workout on a Friday, then Saturday, all of a sudden your arms are starting to kind of like start to fire, and then you're starting to get cramps when you go to flex your arm. That's because of the fact of the matter is you're more likely to have that occur within 24 hours post-workout. Again, I'm going to use this example because this just happened last week. We cut back Derek's sodium because Derek's going crazy on sodium. The situation was that he was really doing quite a bit of sodium. And so what I did was, he'd never measured it in the past with his previous coach. And I said, look, man, we need to figure out exactly how much sodium you're doing. And by the time we did the calculations, it was a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean, like, we're talking about like, we're up in the 6 digits, Yeah. So that was the extreme, right? Because, hey, I want to keep my fullness, my pump. And then all of a sudden it was like, okay, wow, I started feeling better and my blood pressure isn't so high. So it's one of those things where, yeah, you need to have sodium to make sure that you keep everything going with a pump, especially when you're lower carbs, because your body's natural electrolytes are going to be need to be replaced at a faster rate when you're leaner and you're drinking a lot of water, you're doing a lot of cardio, it's hot, you're training, you're perspiring. But at the same time, you can't take the extreme the other way. You can't sit there and just be like, hey, I'm going to do a couple grams of sodium per meal or whatever, So that's the thing. So it is important, but you can't take that stance. And people are going to be like, well, how many grams do you recommend? Honestly, it depends on how much you sweat. Normally 2.5, 3 grams is fine for most people. Some people need a little bit more. Some people need a little bit less, on top of the stuff that comes from your supplements. That's not including your supplemental stuff. That's just stuff. Pink Himalayan, again, it's a little bit of a faddish thing, man. I mean, iodized table salt, you know what I mean? There's a blue Persian salt too, that we'll talk about at some point too. There's a blue Persian salt. Yeah, the benefits of all these ones are still questionable. It's a little bit more marketing when it comes to certain types of salts.